ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow League of Legends enthusiasts. Welcome back to Patch Notes, this show slash serialized series where my giga brain, goes over all the changes that you need to know in League of Legends, reviewed by me, the best ADC in the world. Anyway, let's get into it. It's 1:43 a.m. I forgot to do this earlier as usual. I'm fashionably late, and I want to get through this as fast as fucking possible because I want to play other shit, and I'm not expecting much from this patch because ADC sucks ass. So, kind of a little forward to this patch. I've kind of felt this with certain games recently. It being the certain games being Overwatch, Destiny, League, unfortunately, and that is that these games don't really know what the fuck they're doing. And by don't know what the fuck they're doing, I mean in terms of me, right? Because I think League made, and by League I mean Riot. I mean Riot made like really good changes to support. I think they're doing decent changes to other rules as well, especially Assassins. But the one rule they seem to not care about is ADC. And I actually saw a clip of this recently in the LCS Academy series, where one of the Academy players was playing ADC Jhin, and his support, Camille, decided at like level 7 or something, like very early on in the lane, to just roam top lane and leave the Jhin alone. The Jhin then got starved for XP. He literally couldn't even get close enough to his first tier tower to get XP. The enemy jungler started roaming, or not roaming, hovering him, started just harassing him. He literally could not get XP. He wasn't playing the game. And top lane Camille did nothing. Top lane Camille did absolutely nothing. Support Camille did nothing top. And the Jhin eventually went to tower because he needed to get something, and then he got dove and he died. And it just goes to show, like, he had a terrible time. He could do nothing, and ADC sucks ass. And this is where I honestly don't know how Riot could change it other than doing a massive rework and massive targeted buffs towards the player mentality and culture of bot lane. I think the mentality and culture of bot lane is very toxic. It's very fucked up. And people like fucking Hashinshin and all these other idiots like to complain like, oh, ADC is so good, ADC is so good. It really isn't. It's one of the worst roles in the game. Every ADC main that you see out there, especially Tyler 1, because he's played all the roles, right? All these ADC mains say like ADC is the worst role in terms of relevance, in terms of impact, in terms of fun. ADC is usually last in everyone's order of roles. Like it does not matter. A majority of people you talk to that actually know what they're talking about say ADC is the worst, and I say it's the worst, and I'm an expert. So it's like, I don't know how to change the culture of don't go mage fuckhead roaming support, because that's what's good. And if you make roaming not good, you're gonna have to change like a lot of core values of the game. But basically what I'm saying in this overinflated, very long intro, just thought of a really fucked up joke there, is that ADC is just kind of sucking ass, and it's my favorite role. It always is, it always will be. But it's just like, my favorite role is just in the dumpster for so long. I'm just getting disillusioned. Because Riot obviously doesn't care. They don't want to do anything. They mistreat us every time, every preseason. I've described it thoroughly in other patch notes and other videos, how they just don't give a fuck. And it's just really sad, and it's really getting to me. It's like, I'm not having fun with the main thing I love. It's like I'm a prisoner in like a cage, and I'm shaking at the cage like, Riot, please, please make ADC good, and they just don't listen, and they don't care, and it's just sad. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop because I'm sick in the head. So let's get right into it. Anyway, patch 14.6, fashionably late, but still out technically today, even though it was yesterday. So gather round, cowboys and cowgirls, cause it's high noon in patch 14.6. This week, we've got ourselves a straightforward roundup. God, I hope so. Let's go fast. We're fixing to boost the power of some scaling tanks that are holding down the fort in the top lane, like Kogoth and San. Wow, I can't believe they're getting nerfs. I feel like tanks aren't that good. And if they're good, they're really good. But granted, I haven't played League recently because there's been no patch, so that should tell you enough. One of the things I'm really going to be sad to see is if they nerf Smolder. Excuse me, because after the rework to Smolder, I actually like him a lot more. I don't know if he's stronger or weaker. I actually think he's stronger personally, but it's strength that comes at like a different sort of a cost, and it's strength that comes way later in the game if you are farming properly. So it's not like it's unearned, but when you earn it, it feels really oppressive. Like Smolder feels really fucking good. So I really hope they don't nerf him, but they're probably gonna nerf him. Like I would not be surprised if they do. I just hope they don't. They always love nerfing our infinite scaling dragons, man. But either way, so let's see. We also got a raid in the champions ran a bit too wild. Looking at you, and here it is. Smolder and Karma. Wow, I'm surprised Karma's still an issue. And let me tell you, we've got an update for Galio to make him live out his colossal cock fantasy in the mid lane. When it comes to the gear, we're throwing a buff lasso to give crit marksman a bit more bite. Thank God. Holy shit. And we're making a swoop through epic tier items to make them fairer. I don't know why they weren't fair already, but okay. And another thing I actually heard to add to the league just being unfun for me personally thing. League ranked, I heard, is in one of the worst states it's ever been in, ever. Because there's people who are getting massively overplaced, like gold and platinum, as in their first time ranked. And obviously that's not going to go good for everyone. They're getting overplaced, and people are botting to the extreme, not to get higher, but to get lower into iron to sell the accounts for fun. So it's been a big issue. These people aren't getting banned fast enough. Where I literally saw a video where people are doing this for like 60 games in a row. They're legitimately straight inting controlled by an AI bot. Like I'm not even dead ass joking. Like I've had games where I thought people were AI, but they're still people. No, these are legitimately AI controlled bots. Now hopefully, right? Hopefully Riot's proprietary system, Vanguard for cheating, will fix this, but God knows when that's coming out because people are scared of it, and with right reason. Especially with what just happened in Apex Legends Championship, how that shit got hacked. Either way, though, a lot of issues in League, man. Not just for ADC, but for everything. So, let's keep going. Hold on to your saddles, because there's more to the tale. We're wrangling up some ARAM balance changes, because there's going to be an ARAM clash this weekend, which I'm very happy for. Tweaking demotion LP levels, letting you know about a replay change behind the scenes, an update on DirectX support, and unveiling a fresh batch of High Noon skins, and look at that. And I believe this High Noon skin line has not only a legendary Yon skin, which is his second one, lovely, but also I think he has a $200 version of his legendary, which is insane. Like, he's getting it on release. Other people have to wait for their legendaries to get it. And it's really, really sad that Jin got the first one, because the first one is always the shittiest. Jin's one was literally a chroma. The Echo one was way better than the Jin one. And I'm assuming the Yon one is going to probably be way better than the regular one, the regular High Noon Legendary. But again, I don't look at the skins. Rest in peace, Render 20, so I guess we'll see in time. Maybe, if someone's a whale and I meet them. Either way, make sure to keep an eye peeled for any suspicious stuff happening in Quick Play towards the end of the month, and let us know if you find anything interesting. Oh yeah, because April Fool's is happening soon. Oh shit. Anyway, we have new TFT shit, but I don't care. So, the High Noon skins and everything like that are going to be available March 20th, which is today. And then One for All will also be available today. Cool. So that's nice. We're going to be able to play that when the pass is out. I don't know when it's coming out, but we'll see. Hopefully League doesn't kick us off here, but even if it does, I could just get the patch notes on Google, so we should be good. Anyway, DirectX support. So sometime in the next few patches, we will remove support for the ability to manually opt for DirectX 9. That shit's really old too, so I don't mind. To maintain the stability and performance of our games, they have to basically axe the lowest part of it, which is DirectX 9. So sorry, some of the toasters are turning off permanently. Anyway, let's see what we're doing. So, ranked adjustments. Like I just said, there's a lot of problems with ranked recently. Continuing on with our updates to the LP system, now that we've made promoting much easier, we're adjusting the LP that players are set to once demoted. In its current state, demotions are a bit too forgiving, really now. Meaning some players are placing a rank above their actual skill level, which results in negative LP gains, which I've been getting a lot. In order to help address this problem, we'll be lowering the demotion LP starting point from 75 to 50. Holy shit. To help make those demotions more meaningful. Wow, that's going to really hurt. Holy shit. I mean, in total, right? In totality, League ranked gains and losses and how long it would take with promos, with like the 5 games between divisions and then the 3 games between individual ranks and stuff. It was brutal. Like, compared to what it was back in the day, the brutality of it, it is so much better. It's still going to sting, but it honestly is just a prick compared to how long and drudging it was back in the day. So this is not bad. I'm actually not too sad about this. It hurts, but it's whatever. So, updated bot AI. So, coming in this new patch, they have new bot AI technology, hopefully thanks to ChatGPT. Coming to Co-op versus AI, intro, beginner, and intermediate queues, our new bots have picked up a few skills, like jungling, which they could never have done, taking objectives, ganking, and more. And their goal is to basically just have new players learn, and then experienced players play this mode for lower stress, which realistically speaking, no one's going to do that. The only people who go into here are people who are trying to game the matchmaking system, because this is one of the ways they do it to get ranked higher, ironically enough. And they do it because they're trying to level and sell accounts. So I don't know what experienced players going in here. But anyway, at the end of the day, they want to make a more realistic experience so you can actually learn, which I think is great. I think League is very, very unfriendly to beginners. There's so much information. It's such a hard game that it's very, very off-putting. But somehow League is still life. League is literally one of the games that is the exception. Like, I don't know why it's so popular with everything running against it. It's one of the most toxic games out there. It's fucking hard as shit. You need to be good or you're going to be cannon fodder like 80% of the fucking player base most of the time. Like, it's insane. And this game's infuriating. But despite that, it's still popular as shit, so they must be doing something right. Either way, though, the beginner experience is getting a little bit more good, so that's nice. So, on to the champion changes. We have Briar. I really, really hope they don't nerf Briar anymore. I feel like Briar has been slapped enough. They've changed her. They've axed some of her builds that were, like, not as niche, because she had options, right? The biggest thing about Briar, and it's kind of similar to Kai'Sa, is she kind of had options. I don't think she has as many varied options as Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa had AP, crit, on hit, and they all did different things for the most part. Briar basically had crit lethality, maybe full tank if you're crazy, and bruiser. And Riot really wanted to stick into the bruiser category, so they kind of just pushed her into that through many, many different nudges, we'll say. So I really hope they don't nerf her. I think she's already lost a lot of her allure with all the different builds, all the fun builds, I might add. But let's see. I really like Briar too. Briar late game is so fucking good too. I love late game champions that are good. So let's see what they're doing. Briar is currently struggling to find her footing in higher skill brackets of play while also overperforming in lower skill brackets. I mean, that's the nature of the character. And I always say you can't make things perfectly balanced because then it's perfectly unfun. We're introducing some skill level skewed nerfs to throw a bone to Briar players who want to cosplay as Lee Sin. Wow. So you can now ward hop with Q, which is insane. That's actually insanely good. You have a free escape, as if you didn't have one with your W already. But if you used it with your W and you didn't have your E, you'd basically still end. So it's interesting. Either way, her W is getting nerfed by 1% early, 5% late. So that's a little sad. Her W healing is going down by 1% early, 5% late. See, that's more reasonable. I imagine old Riot would have just did 5% across the board, but now they're doing 1, which is fine. After that, her R damage is going down by 100. Holy shit. Wow. But it's base damage, so it's not that bad. And early, nothing's happening. I honestly think that's fine. I think a majority of her damage late game should come from her actually brawling you, not her nuking you with the ult, which it didn't nuke you already, but, you know, I think this is fine. As long as they don't make it meaningless, which it's definitely not, although they are taking a decent chunk out of it, I think, again, the majority of her damage should rightfully come from her fighting. This is going to sting a bit, though, but this is fine. Briar's fine in my eyes. So, Cho'Gath. So, this has to come with some nuance. I heard for April Fools he's getting new skin, so I imagine he's getting a buff here. Cho'Gath isn't doing too hot up top, so we're here to help this Void monstrosity become a bit more monstrous by not giving him a VGU. We're specifically targeting his W and E, so let's see what they're doing. So the W's cooldown is going down by 2 early, which is pretty good. And then the E is getting slightly more base damage. It's hard to tell how good this is going to be. I mean, people, I think, should max E anyway. But, I guess we have to see how much impact this has. I feel like it won't have much. Now, it's going to be 36 damage extra at max level, but 36 damage at max level isn't going to be too much. But Cho'Gath is slightly better. I think this is fine. Diana. What do I think of Diana? I think Diana was one of the worst junglers, which is ironic because for a time she was really good. Diana basically either bursts you like crazy and just nukes all over you, or kind of does nothing. So I think they nerfed her nuking enough to where I think she still could get buffed, but let's see. Diana has been successful as assassin in the mid lane this season. Jungle Diana has suffered due to her need to be an auto attacker. I thought they already fixed this way long ago. So this patch, we're ramping up her synergy with sustained combat builds without giving too much extra power to bursty ones. Interesting. So her attack speed ratio went up. Her growth went down. Interesting. And then her passive. What the fuck? Tripled for 5 sec. Wait, what? Ramping up her synergy with sustained combat builds without giving too much power to actually burst. I'm so confused. It looks like they're just increasing the duration but slightly nerfing it. I guess that kind of makes sense, but this seems more like a quality of life change. This is whatever. Okay, Galio. I've actually seen full AP Galio, and no joke in heaven and hell, it's actually scary. Like, AP, or not even full AP, like, I saw a hybrid AP Galio, and that shit did so much damage. I was like, oh my god. I think Galio might be sleeper OP, and I think they kind of have to nerf him. Like, when I noticed what he was doing, and he was feeding, I was like, this is not okay. So let's take a look. So, large adjustments to passive, Q damage decreased, cooldown decreased, W damage decreased, damage reduction, adjust. Oh my Jesus Christ, what are they doing? Let me read this huge ass paragraph real quick. So their goal is to make his damage more consistent and make him synergize with healthier items. Okay. That should make it decrease his passive cadence. Ew. So they want him to be melee. They don't want him to just be a Q spam bot, which is what he was. We like to make it feel more better. Okay. Psychological changes. There's a new health ratio. Oh. See, I actually like those changes where they incentivize you with those extra ratios. They're doing the same thing with Briar, or at least they were. So, his passive is going down, but it's actually going a lot down. What the fuck? His passive is getting giga nerfed. However, if you hit someone with your passive that's a champion or monster, epic monster, you get cooldown refunded, which is good. It now triggers spell effects, which is insane. And he now gains 40% attack speed while his passive is available. That's interesting. Wow. And it's no longer affected by ability haste. That's fine too. Okay. So they just put more base damage into it, which is good. And I'm not talking about straight damage. I'm just talking about the buffs here are more for it to stand on its own rather than it to scale, which is fine. So the Q, the Winds of War. The AP ratio is going down by 5%. The cooldown is going down by 1. That's pretty good. The Shield of Durand is going down in MR and scaling. Wow. But that's because they're adding the bonus health multiplier. Okay. And then the damage is also going down. Yeah, his damage was actually crazy. I think it was just the Q, honestly, though. But let's see. And then the E is now going down as well. And then reduced damage to non-champions is going down. Okay, cool. Galio is interesting. I don't know too much of the specifics of his passive cooldown, but I think this should be fairly worse, probably. Because realistically speaking, you're only going to play Galio, at least a lot of people, as like a Q spam bot. And it was OP, so Galio is probably worse. How much worse? Not much, but decently worse. Actually, no, not that worse at all, because they're really only shaving 1 second and then 5%. It's not too bad. Because shaving the second is actually going to help him. The cooldown's going to be better, so... Maybe I would count this as kind of neutral. Huh. Weird. I think Galio's still good, though. Gragas. I've played Gragas recently in, what was it called? In Earth, I believe, and I fucking hate this champion. He feels like shit. He feels outdated. The people out there who do, like, Gragas montages, my hat's off to you, bro. Even though it's not hard to do, it feels like shit. Like, Gragas is definitely, like, a fine wine you really need to like to play, and I do not like wine, so... I think, though, Gragas is probably Probably on the weaker side. I can imagine him getting buffed, so let's see. So, Gragas is performing too well in solo queue. Wow. Particularly in higher skill brackets. Oh, well, there it is. The people who can actually do the combo. So we're nerfing him there specifically. Okay, so his base health is going down, and his mana cost is going up. Wow. Holy shit. Not crazy, but decent. Okay, Karma. Apparently, Karma is still an issue, and I don't know why. So let's read. Karma isn't a reasonably powerful support, but an oppressive mid laner. What? I mean, that's true. She's basically like the Malzahar pick. I kind of take the Malzahar pick as like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, so you're going to do this because you're going to have some value. I feel like that's the same thing with Karma, except Karma's a little bit more skill capped. And you might be honestly able to do more, potentially speaking. But let's see. So, we want Mantra to be a button that she has to consider when to press and think of best situations. With Karma's easy access to ultimate haste, the strategic choice has lost value. Okay. So her mana growth is going down, her generation's going up, that doesn't matter. The passive is going down by refund, okay, by 1 second. Her Q mana cost is getting severely giga nerfed, wow. And then her R, slightly up. And then the shield, slightly down by 5. Karma is a little bit worse, nothing crazy though. Besides that Q mana, holy shit. Kayn. I actually have not seen Kayn in a while. I feel like Kayn could get a buff, but let's see. So, fighter items now appear to be optimal on Ross, so mission accomplished. Kayn's two forms are still pretty far apart, so we're nerfing Shadow Assassin and buffing Darken. Wow, I would have never thought I saw the day. We're specifically hitting his ability to activate items during his Q. Wow, interesting. So, the Q blocks Kayn from using items during it. That's fine. That's a big nerf, though. And then his damage is slightly going up. Huh. I thought it was just by 1. I was like, wow, what is that? But it's percent of max health. That's not bad. That's pretty good. And then the damage of the ult is going down by 25% of bonus AD. That's going to hurt a little bit, for sure. I mean, listen, always go red anyway, so that's fine. So, Ornn is also in person getting another skin next patch for April Fool's, so he's going to get buffed. E cooldown decreased. There it is. And how much are they decreasing it by? 2 seconds. That's actually not bad. Rek'Sai. So again, I've said this in detail in the other patch notes. I feel like Rek'Sai is a little bit of like a fish out of water. I feel like she is kind of getting the Cassant treatment, or maybe even the Rise treatment, where it's like she just keeps getting changed because she's either too good, which doesn't last very long, or she's not good for a very long time. And the second one's kind of been happening. She's been reworked. It's been ass. It's been weird. So they're probably going to buff her, but let's see. When we changed Bro to always damage everyone inside the circle, we mistakenly removed this ability to always hit her auto attack. Regardless of the actual range, we're returning that functionality to this patch. It's fixing another bug with R. Wow. So it's just bug fixes, but they're very good bug fixes, so I would almost count them as buffs, so that's cool. Not going to change much, though. Senna ADC has been pretty good, so they're probably going to nerf it because they don't want her ADC. Even though she's an ADC, but she's also in the support, so Senna's weird. She's also built like paper, so she's really weak, but let's see what they're doing. We think Senna is appropriately powerful as support in the hands of most players. She's currently too strong as a farming bot laner. Interesting. Excuse me. Oh man, it is 2 AM. I am getting tired. I had like no sleep today too. If I sound dead, that's why. If I sound like I'm dead or robotic. Either way, so the minion rate, I believe this was what it was once upon a time, and then they raised it, and now they're lowering it back, just like Blizzard. This is a huge fucking nerf. Jesus Christ. So you're really not incentivized to go ADC on her, which is sad. I like the option, but Senna is a very weird character where you have to play her unlike any other character, similar to, in my mind, Smolder, where you basically have to swap roles mid-game from support to ADC, which is weird, but they don't like it as they didn't in the past, and they're doing the same exact change. So, it is what it is. So Shen, I remember there's a big controversy with Shen where, you know, every patch, the Shen main said Shen's getting worse, he's getting indirectly nerfed, and then they rioted, ironically, And he kind of oh, excuse me. He kind of eventually got the attention he deserves and he got buffed, but I don't know how he's been. I still think Shen is not bad, but I feel like he just doesn't scale well. He's just like an ulti taunt bot. I mean, he's more CC. Early in the game, early mid game, he does do damage. I feel like late game, he just loses it all, which is sad, but Shen is a unique tank with strong 1v1 dueling potential, so we like to make sure he continues to live up to that standard. So they're upping his mid-game selfish power. Oh. So now it's just 4 to 7.5. Interesting. So his passive is just going to be up a little bit more often, which I believe is just him getting a shield. Not bad, Shen slowly better. Scion. So any buff they do to Scion, they have to be careful because of the one fucker that is a genius at him, the boss. So let's see what they're doing. Once Scion lost his hard binding to hard steel, he lost a lot of scaling, a lot of damage, a lot of functional health. That's true. Since the whole system had fed back into itself, this patch were attempting to bring Scion back to the scaling tank glory days. Wow. Jesus Christ, like, look at all these numbers. Holy shit. So the minimum damage is going from 120 to... Okay, so they're upping the percentage by 5. And the max damage is going up by 25. Oh, wait, no. By 15. Scaling. Excuse me. Yeah, this is whatever. And the W shield is now scaling bigger off his max health. That's actually good. I think that actually matters because Stan really gets a lot of fucking health. It's stupid how much he gets. Granted, I wish that translated into something actually more useful, but it is what it is. But not bad. Stan's pretty the same, honestly. He's whatever. Okay, now we get to the cream de la crop, Smoldy. I'm very scared they're going to nerf him too hard, or they're going to keep nerfing him. Again, ADCs just are never going to eat. Like, granted, they let Smolder go for a lot longer than I thought. Excuse me, I could have imagined them hotfixing him, but they didn't. So, maybe that spells some hope, but I doubt it. Everything that's an ADC has to get shat on, so let's see. Smolder is just a little guy, but this little guy's dream of scaling with his stacks can feel like an inevitable nightmare for his opponents, which it should be. While we don't believe he'll be problematic in the long term, there are quite a few frustrating or overpowered parts of his kits that we're looking to address. First is execute scaling based on stacks has been too powerful. That's true, but it's sad they're reducing it again. So they're capping at 6.5, which is sad. Safety from his E and mismatched hitbox, which is W, can be quite frustrating. That's true as shit. There's sometimes the W hits where I'm like, wow. Okay, so let's scale more easy. So we're nerfing them both with the goal of making Smolder's early game weakness more noticeable. I feel like once people found out the D-Ring build, his early game just went out the window. Like, it's not an issue anymore. So let's see what they're doing. So the execute threshold started at 2 and then scaled per stack, which now it's not scaling per stack anymore, I don't think, but like if it's statically at 6.5 and it can increase, which I believe it increased before, something was always increasing with his Q that was good. It's sad this isn't increasing because he basically became a late game win con, which is what ADCs are supposed to be. But again, Riot doesn't want that. So and in this case it is actually kind of fair, but I really gotta check into this because if this is as bad as I think, Smolder's so fucking like gutted, but it is what it is. So the execute condition, Smolder only checks to execute units after Smolder's damage, meaning it will no longer execute off of allies' damage, which is sad. That's very sad that they're changing that too, but it's whatever. So the missile radius is getting nerfed, and the flap is getting nerfed as well. So nerfs across the board. Smolder is definitely weaker after this. His late game is a lot weaker, which is sad because you needed to build up to it. But granted, maybe he was building up to it too easily. I did feel like he was kind of ridiculous in late game, but again, that's the point. Is it fair? Honestly, probably not. So again, I could see them a little bit, but I'm just salty because it was something good we finally had for 2 seconds. So it is what it is. Tryndamere. Tryndamere is very simple. I don't really know what they're going to do to him. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that bad, but let's see. So he lost some power, so we're going to give it back to him in attack speed growth. Whoopee. Cool. Volibear. I feel like Volibear sucks fucking asshole. I tried playing this bear in the top lane. I tried going like the bruiser build, which is what I thought you're supposed to go, but no, you're supposed to go AP build, sadly. But wow, this I almost said Broly. Why does Voli feel like absolute fucking poppycock ninnery? Like he's terrible. So either way, Volibear jungle is currently performing too well. Okay, well there's the case. It's jungle, not top. We're back in this patch terrain in a minute. We'll be walking back on some of the cute bonus move speed and our cooldown buffs. Wow. But they're still keeping the biggest part of the R nerfed, the tower duration that's stunned. So let's see. So his Q is going down by 4. Okay. And then his R is going up by like 5. 10 early, 5 mid. Okay, this is fine. Volibear's basically still the same for the most part. And finally, items. Oh, let's see this shit. Please. Please make ADCs good. So let's see what they're doing. And again, I'm looking for systematic changes here. I don't know how they're supposed to do that. Because again, they got to fix the culture around bot lane. It's not necessarily the items. Now, if they overbuff the items, that's not really a solution because they're just going to get nerfed again anyway because people are going to complain. I think it's more of just how the bot lane feels and how the current state of the game is, again, with abandoning the ADC. The character who needs to be protected early is left early. And it's like, why? Why are you doing this? Why? But either way, Crit Marksman as a whole feel pretty sad right now. Yeah, they felt like that for a while. So we like to power up the subclass as a whole. We're doing this through big ticket multipliers and amping up specific strength as tank busters. Interesting. So Infinity Edge crit damage going from 40 to 50. So I think it's right about to be, if not it's on, the old value of what it was before with 250% crit damage, I believe. Unless it's less, because I don't think you start at 200. I think you start like 175, so this might be 225 instead of 250, which again, we're getting close, but it's nothing crazy. But it is pretty good. So Infinity Edge getting a buff, that's great. Navoria Quoque Blades are getting a recipe update, as well as 5 more AD, which is fine. Armor Pen for Lord Doms is always appreciated. The 5% goes a long way. And then the Armor Pen for Mortal Reminder is also 5%. Pretty good. Again, they need to fix the culture, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. That's nice. So, early Doran's on for junglers and supports. What the fuck is this? In this patch, we're updating the rules around Doran's bullshit. Okay, and the starter items. Owning one starter item listed here precludes you from buying the others. This means supports who start with Doran's Blade, Doran's Ring will be unable to buy their support quests without first selling the Dorans. Wow! We're doing this to maintain Doran's items as exclusive tools for laners. Wow! Make sure you read about the support item changes below. Okay. So Doran's Blade, Ring, Doran's Shield may no longer be purchased if World's Atlas Runic Compass is already in the pledge inventory. Wow. This also applies to the jungle shit. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Damn. So early income for supports. Oh no, don't tell me they're going to make supports unfun. Alright, so let me read this. So supports have gained a lot of power this season, especially from stupid items like Zax. Okay. We're displaying their second item by loading. Okay. Winning PvP. Okay. Okay, and they keep nerfing Stolza Slay. It's pretty good, but it's not crazy. So the gold is going down. The gold on damage is going down. Wow, they're just reducing the gold like crazy. I feel like support's going to become unfun again. Maybe at that point, they might relegate them to the bot lane, hopefully, to stay with the AD, but we'll see. Because maybe they were roaming because they were not that far behind, honestly. Maybe they were just gambling. Who knows? But either way. Yeah, so pretty much same changes. Okay, and then Solstice Sled is... Wow, this is getting the fucking Kassan treatment too. Just constant nerfs every patch. Wow. I wonder if they're going to nerf Maokai again. I don't even know if he's good, but anyway. Epic items. So they're taking past at epic items. Okay, so they don't want the lane to feel over, kind of like what happens when you have Thornmail against certain characters. Which honestly, if I'm saying it, I feel like it's only really Thornmail. And maybe the Zanya's item, but let's see. The gold experience, okay. We're saying the full power of the legendary items to make sure you don't have to wait, okay. Oh, okay. Excuse me, wow, I am tired. This patch was putting me to sleep. Which is ironic because a lot of people tell me it puts them to sleep, but either way. Oh, it does more expensive components should be difficult. Okay. We're doing some light cleanup on Glacial Buckler and Steel Sigil. So what are they doing? So Bommies is slightly worse. Caulfield's is worse. Phoenix Codex is worse. So they're getting rid of a lot of just core stats. Wow. So Buckler is more expensive. Guys is worse. Axe is a lot worse in my eyes. Alternator's fine. Kerchesis is whatever. Durka's whatever. Wow, they removed Spectre's Cowl. Spectre's Cowl was low-key one of the best, like, AP defensive items you could have gotten top lane. It's really, really sad. Either way, Steel Sigil, nerfed. Okay, cool. I mean, again, the nerfs aren't anything crazy, but it is what it is. So, not bad. Either way, let's keep going. So, systems, Grubbies. So, the Grubbies have been a major point of contention. I actually think they're probably going to nerf Grubbies just because it's so important. Let's see. We're changing the shield buff that the Grubbies receive to a heal. Wow. This is tended to eliminate any confusion when smiting a Void Grub since the shield was not accounted for. This should function fairly similar to before, and we hope this change helps junglers with their timing and smiting. Wow. So on death, remaining Void Grubs receive 20% maximum and missing health shield. Okay. Remaining Void Grubs receive 30% maximum and shield. Okay. Any excess healing temporarily increases their max health. Damn. And others VFX that you'll hear for the entire thing. Cool. ARAM balance changes. So I usually would go over this, especially because there's an ARAM clash this weekend. However, it's ARAM, it's for fun, so it's fine. We'll take a quick look, but I doubt say anything crazy. Yeah, it's just slight numbers. Okay, cool. Oh, actually, wait, what did they do in 6? The tower executes going way down, but that's fair because it is ARAM. Yeah, okay, this is fine. Then ARAM Clash, I am definitely going to be participating in that, so watch that with me this weekend, where I will be happily winning. I love ARAM too. ARAM is so fun. Replays. They make you some updates to the replay system. Help improve response. Okay, cool. So just some tech stuff. Nice. And then Mythic Shop rotation. So we have Saps Ezreal, Warwick, this thing way sexy, the Volibear skin, the Nami skin, Cho'Gath, which was released for charity. Hextech Renekton is probably one of the worst skins ever. The newest Crystal Indomitus skin line, which, as I've said before, I wish they would just make a new line every time, but they're lazy. So, we're still with the Crystallis stupid theme. And then Willis and Decline Emo. Lol. And leaving them with the shop, all this bullcrap, future rotations. We have a... Oh, okay, we already see this. Okay, nice. And bug fixes, quality life, we don't care. So, I've kind of talked about the skins, I'll talk about them more. Crystal Indomitus Cosmos looks aight. The colors look a little similar to his current self, but I guess the geometry kind of helps him. Not bad. High Noon Evelyn is fucking smoking hot. High Noon Gragas is hilarious. High Noon Rel, I thought was like Hecarim or something, because I didn't see her there with the cow head, but that's apparently her. Not a bad skin. And then High Noon Yon, which is the legendary. Peacemaker High Noon Yon, which is the $200. And then, Prestige Evelyn. Cool. So skins are not bad. I always love High Noon. I like how far High Noon has come. And apparently they're adding like one of Skarner's skins to High Noon too, which is nice. I honestly just love the High Noon skins. I think they're amazing. I think all of them are good. We have the bug here, unfortunately, but everything else is pretty good. And they have Prestige High Noon, I was about to say Leona. Evelyn too. God, Evelyn looks so hot. Holy moly. And then there's, promos. Nice. So overall, we finally got through most of the patch. I think we did in a semi-decent time. About 40 minutes. Not bad. Sooner than I thought. So overall, my tired, unmotivated, drug-addled brain, even though I don't do drugs, will come up for this patch the rating of... Oh, I like to say... Ugh. Honestly, they are trying to buff AD. So... See, it's really hard. Fuck, man. Because they nerfed Smolly too. I'm honestly just going to say like a 5.5 out of 10. I think this is 5.5 out of 10 Mark Miles. Nothing really crazy. We're getting in the right direction with some ADC-centered buffs as a whole. But the fact that they nerfed Smoldy really upset me. So that's going to be it. 5.5 out of 10 Mark Miles. I hope everyone enjoyed. And I hope in 2 weeks I'm not as tired when I do this again. Whoopee!